Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hello Jason. Hello. Jason's already started on this MAN. We're gonna take the cab off and we're gonna put it on a jig, which we've got here. The accident basically happened in this front corner. This is all pushed in, this post is pushed in, that door is overlapping, quite bad now. So you can see that gap here, there's a biggie on the top, smaller on the bottom. And we've got a plan, we're going to change this panel, the big black panel, but everything has to be stripped. And basically what happened, so where the accident happened higher up here, so the dent is actually there, push that on. But like I said, I'm not sure if that, you have to take the dash out, everything else for it, and the screen, I believe the screen will have to come out to change this panel. And we have to strip it all this night heater, all the mud guards, because I've got a kink in the floor. That's, yeah, there's a kink there, and obviously this floor is a bit buckled up. We just have to, hopefully we don't have to take this dash out, but it's been a long time since I've done a MAN like this, because we don't see many of MANs these days. And it hit that hard, it actually ripped this bracket off there. Bracket off where the cab sits on it, and the cab is actually pushed over, so you can see that's the side of the mudguard, and that cab is over and down the back. So to change this bracket, well, you could change it with the cab on, but obviously with so much damage in that corner, it's better to put it on the jig. So let's do it. Right guys, what you saw us doing, we actually, when we was jacking this cab up, with this bracket there being snapped, that bolt being ripped off, it was actually pushing the cab back instead of up. So what we did, we got our forklift, pulled a bit on the front, and we bolted it back there, so it's safe to jack up now. So we've got it up, because we're going to need to take all this plastics off, but as some of you probably know, this is actually bolted in the back. There's a couple of screws in the back there to the side, this side carpet of the engine. So we're going to need to strip all this, yeah, and that bracket there as well, both sides. Night heater, there we go, nearly ready to take this cab off. So let's do it. Right guys, cab is off, sitting on the jig there, and Jason has just took this bracket off, which is snapped. Hopefully we've got him in the boxes already. And what he's doing now, Jason is going to swap all this, or take all this apart, because no doubt this is definitely bent, the other side as well, and that bar, a middle bar, and all them brackets what's on there. We might need to replace them shock absorbers. And in the front, as soon as we took this bracket off there, you can see that chassis, it's not straight, it's going like straight and going up a bit. So when we did put this on, bolted there, we bolted there, but it was facing like downwards, so we need to bring this chassis up a bit there. So I'm just going to bolt this on this side, and the back end, what we find out, there's a big crease in the back panel here, which indicates that chassis is over, which cab bracket, I'm not sure if you're going to see it or not, but is on the angle, so that chassis is a bit like that, and it is in. So we're going to need to pull this sideways, and hopefully this crease will disappear, and we go from there. So let's do it. Right guys, so actually next day here, I was stripping the front up, and the screen people turned up and took the screen out for us, so that's a great deal, and we're pretty much ready to take this front panel out. But I stripped it all inside the bottom of the dash, because the dash is bolted to the front black bulkhead panel, and I hope it will come with it. Later on we probably have to strip it all and separate it and swap over to the new bulkhead, and that's the way probably we're gonna put this new bulkhead on. Build the dash, everything up, then glue it on, because it's bonded all the way around there is bonded. So I'm pretty much ready just to apply some heat and just try to peel it off, and the whole lot will come out. So let's do it. Right guys, the front bulkhead is off with the dash sitting nicely over there, and what I'm going to do now, I've got pretty much jig set up for pulling, because I'm going to need to get this chassis straightened first and bolt this end, like we bolt the bracket on that end. As you can see, that chassis is supposed to be straight and it's bent, so basically I've got this to hold in it holding. It's not tension on it, it's just to hold on it when I'm going to put like a bottle jack underneath there in that spot where it pulled out a bit, and try to get this chassis flat and level. And basically I've got them 2 dozer points, which is the hit was just directly there and there. I'm going to try to grab it in them 2 spots, because there's a few creases on that panel there, and there's a few creases on that floor as well, split there and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to just try to help it, put a tension on there, put a tension on that post when I'm going to push that chassis up a bit and make it flat so I can bolt this bracket on. So let's do it. Right guys, I've got this corner pulled pretty much perfect. That split what was there pretty much disappeared. I was gonna just about to measure up, laser it up, and to laser that corner up comparing to this corner, I need to obviously make sure that it's level. So I've got the laser on the back and the front of the chassis on the brackets. It's pretty much perfect on the level. The same the back end. Back end is sitting level up to that point, but I've got it laser further down, and it looks like that chassis there is down. It's like it's got a little bit of the bend in it, because that line on this side is pretty much on the edge of that chassis there, and on that side, I'm just on the way of the laser now. I'll measure with the tape measure. It's about 5 mil. That chassis wants to go up in the middle, so I'm gonna just get that up and we start measuring the front. So let's do it. Right guys, well done on this one. All the back end is done. The back end is done. I pulled this chassis out, it was about 5 mil in. So I'll pull it out and I'll measure it from the end of the chassis to the front and from the front to the end. And it's all perfect now. So just need a bit of a bodywork and paint front end. As you saw, you already pulled it, just bought this panel in, pulled the door on, checked everything, make sure the gap's all right and everything's perfect. Door shuts perfectly, the gap is nice and even. So we're just gonna get this panel off, door off, that trim off. Gonna give it to the painting, to the boys in the paint shop and get this painted. So let's do it. Right guys, we all put back together on this cab, all front is put back together. Jason basically done it, and we're gonna put this cab on. Eventually we're gonna put this cab on because we've been waiting for this bracket from MAN. Is still on order, and every time we spoke to them, when is this bracket coming, they just couldn't give us a date. I don't know, somewhere in the factory they don't really know, or they don't have it. So we didn't have the choice just to go second hand, just to move this project along because the customer is desperate for it. And we're gonna get this cab on, get this finished, so the customer can have it. So let's do it. Alright guys, we're all done on this one. Come out beautifully, everything is put back together, and I must admit that second-hand bracket obviously saves us a lot of hassle because, like I said, we still can't get one from MAN. Everything is swapped over, even this back end here is swapped over. All the new locks, bar which goes from the lock to lock, that was all bent. New shock airbags, the same on the front. Pretty much perfect. We've got it all painted nicely. New grille, new step, new bumper corner, new headlight, all that kind of corner is pretty new. And like I said, I'm not sure how much it cost and how long it took to do it yet, but what I can show you guys, we've got the chassis back. Merc Actros chassis back, finally, from back from chassisalignment.co.uk, and comparing to what that chassis was before, pretty perfect, straight. We was waiting for this bracket, this cast bracket. We was waiting about 2 months nearly on order. So the chassis was on the chassis was in the chassis alignment UK for about 4 weeks, and they couldn't done a lot till that bracket came. So bracket came, we've got it back, and we're going to start building all up. So, and if you did like the video, guys, please give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and all that being said, thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one.